Oh, yipper. But it's like, do you tip on the gross or on the net? You know, do you tip before the tax or after?
I know. I tend to just go with gross. Gary?
I go with gross. I just, like you said, it's $1 or $2 here or there, and it's not worth, at least I don't think it's worth it.
I get a little weird because if you, that's the understatement of the year, but when I'm paying for something, if I go to that other line, you have to go to the tax line, you have to go to the line above the tax line. You know, it's interesting. Some waiters or waitresses won't actually give you the subtotal.
Yeah, I have.
You ever notice that?
I sure have.
Because they know that trick.
Right. They'll go down that line, and then that last line, whatever that is, they just add to it, and then you get your total. I just go with the total, because you know what?
Yeah, I've noticed that in a few places, but most of the places you can pick it out. But that doesn't bug me as much. It really bugs me. It's like when there's like two people, you go to some places late at night. If you go to like an IHOP that's open all night, they'll throw a tip on automatically after a certain time of day. That always irks me.
Why?
Why what?
Why after a certain time of day?
Dine and dash.
I have no idea why.
After midnight?
I've really asked the managers, like, well, wait a minute. What's the difference between eating at 11 o'clock and eating at 9 o'clock? Why now does the waiter automatically get this tip?
Well, if you're going to get
like I wasn't going to tip, but I resent being told you're going to pay this. And tips are optional, are they not?
Yes, they are.
See, do you have
to pay it? That's a very good question, Carlton. If you have that on your bill, do you have to pay that?
I wanted to ask you guys, maybe someone else out there knows. I wondered that. There was one time I was really kind of ticked off, and we had gotten really, really crummy service for no good reason. And it's like I waited on tables, so it's not. I know what it's like to work on those tips. I went through college waiting on tables. I always tip.
This was at an IHOP?
Yeah, it was.
Maybe
I'll tell you which one it was.
No, that's all right.
Maybe it should be I skip if that's their problem.
Thank you very much.
I know the lawyers down in the suits make real itchy, so we won't mention which one.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We won't. It's if you're going to dash, you're going to dash on the whole deal. You're not going to dash on a tip, right?
Right.
Or maybe people go, late at night, I'll dash because maybe they think. Now, that's an interesting psychology here. Maybe they think that the waiter won't chase me out into the middle of the night so I can get away with that. Because that's the only reason I tip is the fear that the waiter's going to chase me or the waitress is going to chase me and humiliate me. Otherwise, I would never tip. If I didn't fear that, I wouldn't tip.
Thank you, Cup. That's right. There's a guy who will whip out a quarter at the end of the evening, no matter what the bill is. I've seen it happen with him. Actually, a waitress came up to me and said, "Do you see Cup down there?" I said, "Yeah." He had about $15 worth of drinks, gave me a quarter tip. That's right.
Well, but did he pay for the drinks? Has Cup paid for a meal in the last 50 years?
That's the funny part. He doesn't probably have to pay for many meals.
Right, because you read the column.
So you spike the tip because you're getting a free meal, right?
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Whenever we've received anything comp, which we never have. I just would like to point that out as far as you know. Venable weather forecast?
All right. In lieu of a weather forecast, I'm going to read from the Bible because it is the end of the world. By the breath of God, frost is given, and the breath of the waters is straightened. Lonnie Tyler?
Whoa.
Yeah.
How can I go after that?
You can't.
All right, well then, traffic and weather every 15 minutes all day long. No, I'm just teasing. Lakeshore Drive southbound, stop and go, Monroe to McFetridge.
WLS, Talk Radio 890 AM.
Gary Meyer, Roe Kahn, working through an end-of-the-world kind of situation here in Chicago. We're trying to figure out what started it. We don't know. Is it our sins? Could be.
Gary got real religious in the last hour. As soon as the sun faded away behind the fog once again downtown.
I flipped, didn't I?
He did. You know how people, when they go through trauma in their life and then they get extremely religious for a short period of time? Gary's going through that. He'll be like that for the next hour. He's been preaching to me. He's been trying to convert me. He asked me to baptize me. He wanted to baptize me in the garbage can a little earlier. Dip my head in. It was very weird.
To do everything I can.
Yeah, very weird. All right, don't worry. It's not coming to an end.
Yeah? Good.
I don't think. All right, we're talking about tipping. Apparently the weather, as bad as it has been, is affecting the tipping. For some reason, there's a psychological effect of weather and tipping. It's in the paper. I'm not making this up. Orland Park, Jim, you're on WLS.
Yes, question I've got is I got a dinner tab for $100 and I got a bottle of wine at $165. How much?
Okay, you got 100 for dinner and 165 for the wine, so you're at 265. My rule would be $50 on that. But the thing is that you've got the bottle of wine. There's a corkage. You can pay what's called a corkage fee.
Well,
I think you're supposed to pay. All right, so here's what you would do.
now a corkage fee is if you bring your bottle in. That's $10.
I think it's even if you buy the bottle there.
And what is the corkage fee?
I think it's $10.
Just a flat 10.
Yeah,
no
so
matter
you
how
go
much
with-
the wine.
So you can go anywhere between $25 and $30 on the tip there, I think, and be safe.
25 or 30. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Because you'd go 15 or 20.
all right. Now you still have to take care of the wine steward or the maitre d' on the wine.
Oh, screw the maitre d'. I don't know. People that you ever,
Well,
you
what
know,
do you already think that's worth? I don't know. That's 12% probably.
well, you know, you go to these really fancy places. They give you a line for the maitre d'. How much do you want to tip the captain?
Or tape the cat. You ever done that?
I have, man. It's a lot of fun. How much you want to? I don't. Who's the captain? You know what? Whenever I see that, the line,
sommelier? That guy that wears that...
this big spoon.
Right.
Yeah. I always want, when I see that on the line, I want to ask the question. I want to stand up in the middle of the restaurant and go, all right, who's the captain in here? Raise your hand. Who's the captain?
So what you're saying in essence is 10%.
I think it's $10, and I think it's $10 on the wine, flat. Even if you get a $1,000 bottle of wine, I think it's $10 on that wine, buddy.
What are you doing during the bad weather? Cleaning your rifle? What do you do?
Pardon?
What do you do to get through the bad weather? Drink? It sounds like you drink.
No, I don't.
If I had a liquor store this weekend, I'd be a rich man. I'm sure those liquor stores were sold out.
Well,
Oh,
I'm
out
in
there.
the roofing business, so right now I'm drinking.
What's that?
I'm in the roofing business, and we can't work, so I'm drinking.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Apparently it's been good to him, though, because he's got a $165 bottle of wine. He's buying it, Okay. Rockford, here's Mike. Mike, you're on WLS. Rockford, the screw capital.
How you doing?
Hey.
Good.
All right. I had a restaurant for a period of time, and it's amazing that the chefs or the owners of the restaurants don't tell a waitress what the heck TIP stands for. And it stands for to ensure promptness. And that was derived in England. And I would say France, but I know, Roe, you get such a creepy feeling about the
Yeah, my hair stands up on my neck when you mention France. Yeah.
I know, but to ensure promptness. And it's amazing when I go into restaurants I sell and I travel and I ask waiters and waitresses, do you know what TIP stands for? And they're kind of taken back by it.
Yeah, because you know why they are? Because they go, oh, this guy's going to try to screw me out of the tip, isn't he?
Well,
as soon as you start going into that, I mean, every waiter and waitress knows that TIP stands for to ensure promptness.
No, they do not.
They act like they don't because they don't want to necessarily be prompt. They don't want to live up to that standard. But TIP has come to mean in America in 1996, TIP has come to mean 15 to 20% of the bill. That's what they think it means.
Well, I think it's amazing that, and you may think that in your own head, but when I travel, the first thing I do, especially in a busy restaurant, I will ask the waiter or the waitress, do they know what TIP stands for?
You walk in, that's your M.O.
That's my
You sit down.
Yeah.
What does TIP stand
And the
for?
second thing he does is he tries to get the phlegm off his dinner roll. That's the second
Right.
thing he tries to do.
No.
You know, no,
And
come
then
on.
they go for unlawful carnal knowledge you, and the game has begun.
No.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's amazing, Gary. Gary, good to hear you on the radio again.
Thank you, sir.
But Roe, it's flabbergasting to go to a restaurant and ask the waiter or waitress what the poop is on tip, and they really don't know.
He just sets up shop there. He gets a drink. I can see this guy in the corner. He goes, wait, person, come here. What does TIP stand for? And if they don't know, he goes for the whole staff.
I know.
Right?
I feel it. And then they're rolling their eyes.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, whatever. And in their mind, they're going, this guy's
Yeah.
going to stiff me like a
Right.
mother. That's what they're thinking. Now, do you pay? What do you pay then?
What?
What do you tip then?
If the waitress is
Prompt.
a good waitress, I'm a 20% person.
Mm-hmm.
But she has to know what it stands for. Otherwise,
And
that
once
drops the tip.
Yeah, but Gary, once they know, it's amazing what kind of service you get.
So the best thing to do is make sure they know at the outset. When you sit down, go, what does TIP stand for?
When they bring the water, you ask them if they know what tip stands for.
Good start. Yeah, good start.
And they
I know what it stands for.
And they asked the whole crew, and she comes back and she says, somebody thinks they know, but they're not really sure.
Yeah, because they don't want to say. Because they know that you are going to hold them to some standard. Mike, thanks very much.
I'm sure when he rolls into town, they see him because he's a regular. Oh, here comes Mr. Wordsmith.
Yeah.
Who wants him? I don't.
Here's a tip guy. Yeah.
What does it stand for?
To ensure promptness. Well, I don't know. Maybe it won't be prompt. I'm telling you, the minute he does that, they're licking his butter patty back in the kitchen. You know that's what's happening.
As well they should.
It's 4:58. Roe and Garry, WLS.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's the WLS Panasonic Gaper Cam.
WLS Talk Radio and Shadow Traffic, in a never-ending battle to make your commute easier, are installing high-tech WLS Panasonic Gaper Cams above all the traffic hotspots to actually zoom in on traffic conditions. WLS Talk Radio with dependable traffic reports 24 hours a day, and now with Gaper Cam. Don't settle for anything else. We'll do the gaping so you won't have to. Another innovation for truth, justice, and the American way. WLS Talk Radio, 890 AM.
Father's Day is only 6 days away. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? If you're a man, you don't want to get emotional. It's hard to get emotional when you buy a gift for your father. We've got the solution right here, right now. Cigars Around the World. And it's a phone call. The best thing for guys to do when they shop, make a phone call. That's all you want to do.
Yeah, because you won't cry.
Right.
Over the phone.
1-800-FRESH-66. Cigars Around the World specializes in taking the frustration out of your Father's Day gift search and the emotion. We should point that out. So this year, stop giving Dad all the junk you've been giving him every year and skip to this. The phone number, it's toll-free. Cigars Around the World, 800-FRESH-66. What do you need to know?
What do you get?
I thought so. It's the original Cigar of the Month Club, Bro. For only $21.95 per month, plus shipping and handling, your dad will receive 5 different hand-rolled premium cigars. And if that isn't enough, a monthly newsletter and a free cigar cutter. I asked for our cutters. We got the cigars. We didn't get the cutters.
Yeah.
We're going to get those cutters this week. I don't know which end to cut. Do you? So if you could send me some instructions.
I think it's the part we don't like.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not very good at this.
Your gift also includes a personalized gift certificate, and memberships are available from 2 to 12 months, and if you place your order today, Dad can still receive his gift in time. That's the main concern for Father's Day. Yeah. So let's get going here. 800-373-7466. Cigars across America, around the world. That's what it is. 800-FRESH-66. Cigars around the world.
You see Larry Brown today, be sure to tell him to have a great day from his friends right here at WLS.
There's good news this week for fans of Dr. Laura Schlesinger. The best-selling author and internationally syndicated host of the Dr. Laura Schlesinger Show is here in Chicago. Dr. Schlesinger is traveling through the country to meet her public and to autograph copies of her books. How could you do that? And 10 stupid things women do to mess up their lives. Don't miss this chance to meet Dr. Schlesinger in person and get your own signed copies of her provocative, informative bestsellers. Consult your newspaper for date and location. Dr. Schlesinger is published by HarperCollins.
Yes, she is. We just saw her a few minutes ago. She's shorter than I thought she was.
She's in town, right? She's normally where? From Toledo? She broadcasts live from Toledo, but she's in Chicago this week.
She will be, by the way, tonight at Borders Bookstore, Clark and Diversey, 7 o'clock tonight, if you want to go out and get one of your books signed by Dr. Laura. In town, shorter than you'd expect her to be.
Well,
Didn't matter yet.
How tall is she?
I don't know. She comes up to about here, I think, but 5'0". What is she? What was she about? You figure about 5 feet, right? 5'1", 5'2".
She's a black belt in Hokkaido. Or...
I know. She's like you could drop any of us. She's just
Then why would she want to do that? I don't care if she makes me cry, but to drop me, that's uncalled for.
Traffic, weather, WLS News. We'll come back to we got an interesting new conundrum in the tip controversy. Also, an update on a story we told you about a couple of weeks ago. A vegetarian bus driver in California, and one more time we'll read the words, today's words for the contest in which you get to try your chance at winning 4 airline tickets to Cancun, Mexico. And back, by the way. That's round trip. That's to and from. Traffic, weather, WLS News. Here's Steve Scott.
This is Dr. Laura Schlesinger. You've read my book, I hope. Now, listen to me. Mid-mornings, 9 till 11 on
Police standing off against an armed robbery suspect. Good afternoon, I'm Steve Scott. Here are some of the stories you'll be talking about on WLS Talk Radio, 890 AM. The 10 standoff continues. It's on the northwest side. Police have surrounded an armed robbery suspect in a house in the 1200 block of North Massasoit Avenue. Now, It started right around...
That's my house. Wait. Yeah, keep going.
Started around 12 noon today with a jewelry store heist in the 5800 block of West Belmont.
One of the offenders ended up here in the hostage situation. We followed him down Central, and he bailed out of his car, and he has a gun, and he took a shot at a police officer.
So far, no reports of any injuries. A second suspect in the jewelry store heist has been arrested. A third still on the loose. The cops have the house surrounded. It appears the suspect is in the basement of the house right now. The standoff, again, is continuing. There's a school nearby. First, they held the students inside at the end of classes, and then they took them out a back way. Now they're going door to door, evacuating people in the area.
Well, it's just good to know the basement is dry with all this rain we've been having.
Yes, hopefully
He's alone down there, though, right?
Yeah, as far as I know, he is. Now, some in the media are using the word hostage situation, but as far as I know, it's just a barricade.
He's holding himself hostage.
I suppose that could be the case.
And he took a shot at a cop.
Yeah, not a good thing to do. Because
so when he's arrested, we'll see him on TV, and he'll look, okay, but frazzled. And then we'll see him tomorrow on TV, and the excuse will be he fell down a flight of stairs.
Yeah. Again, all this happening now in the 1200 block of North Massasoit Avenue on Chicago's northwest side. A credit card scam in Illinois may have claimed as many as 13,000 people in this state. 3 companies have been offering Visa and MasterCards for 3 payments of $35, but not delivering the cards. Now, do these names sound familiar? Telecommunications Resources, Tricom Financial, and First Security. Those are the companies named in a lawsuit today. Search for evidence is over at the ValueJet crash site in Florida. ABC's Robert Pankow.
The search for wreckage and human remains is officially over in the Florida Everglades. Investigators from the National Transportation Safety Board say they've now recovered about 75% of the DC-9 jet, and they will now focus their efforts on reconstructing the wreckage they've recovered. All of the preliminary evidence continues to point to an intense fire in the forward cargo area.
And investigators think the fire may have started with oxygen canisters that were being carried in the cargo area. Police in Charlotte, North Carolina have arrested a 13-year-old girl in connection with last week's arson fire at a black church there. Now, the girl arrested is white. Investigators, though, say at this time it appears there is no indication the crime was racially motivated. And today was an off day for the Bulls. No practice, but they did have to show up for the NBA's obligatory media day in Seattle. Actually, a touching moment. Michael Jordan talking about dedicating the championship run to his late father.
It'll be very, very gratifying. It'll be almost a tribute to my father not being here and the motivation that he's provided, even though hadn't been around. I mean, that's part of my motivation every day, is to go out and make him proud and do what I've done if he was still living.
Meanwhile, back here in Chicago, city officials have outlined their plans for security when the Bulls win the championship. Now, among the provisions, hundreds of cops patrolling the streets, 200 Illinois National Guardsmen on full alert standby where they can be activated within minutes. They'll also use CTA buses to haul away revelers who may get out of hand. We also understand that 60 state troopers will be ushering fire trucks and ambulances through the gate.
All right, look out for this party on Wednesday night.
Yeah, they are ready. By the way, it's going to cost around $1 million per night to stand by all these security forces.
And when does that start?
Wednesday night.
Then why would, if they win Wednesday, that's just the one night.
Right, but if they don't win Wednesday, they'll do it again on Friday. Oh, geez, can you imagine if they win it on a Friday night? Make it $2 million for that night.
I think the Bulls should just put 3 players out on the floor Wednesday to make it interesting. It is really not any fun. It's just like these guys are like, oh, my God, this is a well-oiled machine, and we are not good.
Yeah.
That's the Sonics looking at them like it's a truck coming at them.
It's kind of sad last time, but it's going to cost about $1 million for every time the city has to put all these security forces in line. So it could cost another, $1, $2, $3, $4 million. $3 million. I guess there's, 3 more games? 4 more games left.
One more game left.
There's one more game left. Yeah, I know. I wouldn't worry about that. But I like this idea of the National Guard being on alert. What are they going to do? First of all, they closed Fort Sheridan. Where do they sit around? I thought they used to sit up in Fort Sheridan waiting for the Indians to attack.
Oh, it's a secret. We can't.
I think they're over at the Rock and Roll McDonald's with the sailors.
Yeah. Do you like using CTA buses to haul away the revelers that get out of hand?
I don't even know. You know what? Nothing's going to happen this year. Mark my words. It's like anticlimactic. Nothing's going to happen.
Let's hope so.
I'm telling you right now, it's a prediction. Nothing.
White Sox host Boston tonight at Comiskey Park. The Cubs are in Philadelphia. Traffic and weather next. WLS News Time 5:07.
WLS Talk Radio 890 AM.
Roe and Garry.
You know, this is pretty. If you're at a roller rink. Hi.
Andy Griffith.
You get a line and I'll get a pole, honey.
Watch it now.
You get a line and I'll get a pole, babe.
Watch it. Good guy.
You get a line and I'll get a pole, and we'll go down to the crawdad hole, honey. Baby mine.
Andy goes blue.
Wow. Dirty old man. That's Andy Griffith off of the CD Sings Favorite Old-Time Songs.
The song we played about an hour ago, lyrics to the Andy Griffith theme, first time ever.
Ted Thorpe of Oak Lawn sent that to us. Thank you, Ted.
What you gonna do when the well runs dry, honey?
Yeah. Can you play a little bit of that first
What you
song?
gonna do when the well runs dry, babe? What you gonna do?
The Andy Griffith Twin Spin.
Down your fishing pole and meet me at the fishing hole. We may not get a bite all day, but don't you rush away. What a great place to rest your bones, and mighty fine for skipping.
He just made up those words. He's been working on that for years. All right, back to the phones. We were talking about tipping, and the weather's affecting it. Jessica's on a car phone. Jessica, you're on WLS.
Hi.
Hi.
I just wanted to let you guys know tipping is to ensure prompt service. That's why it's tipped.
To ensure prompt service.
Right. My mom was a waitress for a long time, and she made sure that I knew exactly what that meant.
What did that other guy say?
He
to
said
ensure promptness.
All right, prompt service, prompt. A tip would be a promptness.
Right.
A tip would be a.
Yeah, but that's what I've always heard is tips is with the service, because you want to make sure that, you say service, because it's also, that's part of it, is the actual how well they serve you, not just quickly, but how well they serve you.
Sure. Your mom would have done just great with that guy from Rockford. A tip stands for... I'm telling you, the minute the guy mentions that, they're licking his food in the kitchen.
As well they should.
Oh, I'm sure.
They're blowing their nose.
Yeah, the waitress was looking at him going, yeah. Prompt service.
I think I got an itch.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye. I read The Bridges of Madison County and cried all the way through it. Now, how about another martini? He just sets up shop at a restaurant, that guy that called us a few minutes ago, and just does weird things like that.
He did a little Bill Curtis there. You were doing him as Bill Curtis.
When I thought about the bridges, I thought, my God, that's a fantastic photo shoot for A&E. If I could get a couple of gentlemen to make out in the bridges, one, of course, has to be black. I'm Bill Curtis. Linda, Lester? Hey, maybe Lester would like to make out with a man so I can videotape it.
Rob is on a car phone.
All weekend was talk like Bill Curtis.
Rob, you're on WLS.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Good.
Listen, I'm a waiter. I do it on weekends, and we get these people that come in, and you get, buy one, get one free meal. Like I do pizzas, you buy one pizza, get another free.
Mm-hmm.
They don't tip. You're supposed to tip for everything you order. So don't subtract the price of the pizza and tip, if it's a $30 bill, get one pizza free, so I'm paying $15. So I tip on $15. What's the deal?
All right, wait, let me see if I got this right.
Okay.
If somebody comes in with a coupon, now I understand a coupon, they get the whole dinner for free. Well, I understand that.
But, especially if it's buy one, get one free.
But I don't know, that's interesting, because you know what? And I consider myself to be a fine tipper.
You seem like a nice tipper.
But I don't think I would have done that. I don't think I would have known to do that. To tip on, if I got a buy one, get one free, I would have just gone on the check, not on what I should have been paying.
Okay, you mentioned pizza.
Yeah.
We just got this fax in. Dear Gary and Roe, I've been a pizza delivery driver for 3 years. Many things affect our tips. One is the weather. We've been getting better tips lately, even more when the Bulls are playing and taking an early lead. The same happens for the Bears. But if you don't tip me or the other drivers, believe me, we remember who you are. The next time you might not get your food as hot or as fast as you got it this time. That's a good point, because pizza being delivered hot.
Here's the deal. I try to tip the pizza guys pretty well.
Right.
But my wife looks at me funny when I do it.
No, that's money well spent.
She says, no, they're already getting a delivery fee.
Doesn't matter.
She works
wipe
as
that
a
out.
dispatcher.
No, I'm talking more about, as a waiter.
I understand what you're saying, sir, but you know what? We've moved on, Rob. We need to talk about the pizza delivery guy.
This is my chance to tell the world. This is it.
All right, well, you got it.
Here's what you said. Tip for both pizzas. Give it one free. Pizza. Okay.
Especially
besides, you're not getting you don't get tips at Little Caesar, my buddy, my friend.
No, I'm talking about a major Chicago restaurant, deep dish type style,
where they're offering one pizza for free.
Yeah.
Who's offering one pizza for free?
Yeah.
Like, it begins with a G.
A lot of them do.
Geno's.
Geno's is offering 2 for 1?
Yeah, they got coupons. Buy one, get one free.
Really?
And you bring it in, and then, I deliver $30 worth of food to your table, along with charming banter and clever conversation, drinks.
Sure.
And you're only giving me $15 worth.
All in darkness, too. That's what I love about Geno's.
Yeah.
You go to Geno's, you can't see anything. You got to be a bat to be able to see what's going on in Geno's.
Yeah, I've stubbed my toe. And
I know. They keep it very dark in this. It's very romantic
tip
stuff.
for the free pizza is what this guy's saying.
All right. Now, but here's the problem, though. The pizza delivery, though. See, this is something I did not know because this is what's scaring me. My wife, she yells at me. And she says, no, don't ever, ever, ever. I try to give the guy, first of all, do you tip him 15%? Do you tip him 20%? What do you tip him?
I'm very big on this because...
All right, what do you tip him then?
Okay, say the pie's $12.50.
Yeah.
I'll do $2.50, $3.50 tip.
See?
Yeah, see,
But they're already getting $1.50.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter because he gets it to me very fast, and I know he knows that I'm a good tipper. That's all into the mix now. You got to take care of those guys. That's with any food delivery guy.
I figure they should get more. See, this is the thing. They should get more than a waiter in a restaurant.
Yeah.
I've never operated on this. I will start now, but because they're driving somewhere.
Right, and if the weather's bad, I add a couple bucks onto that.
Yeah, well, the weather, I
got to do that.
Better for weather. Because the guy's standing outside, the rain's pouring down. We had one guy last week delivering pizza, and my daughter invited him in. Oh, come in, don't stand out there, it's raining. She said, come in and say, no, I would not come in. I would not come in. He's doing that whole thing that I didn't want to mess up, our house. And I'm like, throw all the money at that guy. But that's very, see, I didn't realize. Now, what percentage, though, are you looking at there?
You're
looking at 20. You're looking at 20%. You're tipping 20%.
Oh, it's at least that. Mostly 30%, I figure, most of the time for a pizza delivery guy.
Really?
Yeah. And
now I feel like a
consider, well, I consider that a good investment. I just, I like pizza so much, and when I want it, I don't want to wait 2 hours. And sure enough, if you're a good tipper, man, they put you right on the front of the list.
All right, we'll come back. We'll hear if that works. 518. See, learn something. There's something that I had no idea that I was doing wrong. For 30 years of my life, didn't realize. I've been tipping pizza guys since I was 2. I didn't know anything about that, so now here we go. That's very interesting.
Try it. See what happens.
Because now I'm afraid that I've been, under-tipping these guys, and they're licking my pizza on the way in.
He sealeth up the hand of every man, that all men may know his work.
Gary, instead of reading the weather, is reading biblical passages because of these scary weather conditions over the last month.
Preach it, brother.
58 at the lakefront. Funny. Gary Meyer, Rocon. One thing I'm not sure of is tipping room service at a hotel. That's still a gray area for me. Because it says on the bill, gratuity included.
Yeah, I always give a couple bucks because I figured the guy's going to come back and maybe resuscitate me when I drop dead later that evening. I get scared.
I'm still not sure. I have been doing it, then I look down and I see, the gratuity's in there, and it seems sufficient. I mean, more than sufficient when you consider room service bills, right?
Well, the room service guy is like halfway between the delivery guy and a waiter.
Yeah, I'm still sorting it out.
I know. And for years, I've been having this sneaking suspicion that I was screwing up with the delivery stuff, and I have been now that you've pointed that out to me. Be listening sometime this hour. We are going to mention the one or two words today in Spanish. Could you turn this down?
Try to overproduce the show more, Todd.
Yeah, I can't speak over the guy singing. I'm just not going to do it. Like all of a sudden now, he goes, oh, now you're interested in production. Where were we? All right, every day this week, we'll give you one or two words in Spanish. They're going to make up a phrase. On Friday, when you hear the final word, caller 89 at 591-8857 with the complete phrase in Spanish wins 4 tickets to Cancun, Mexico, NATA. So listen carefully because we'll only give out the word twice each day, once on Friday. Some restrictions do apply. Your second chance to hear the words are coming up a little bit later on this hour. All right, we go back to the phones at 591-8900. Ron's on a car phone. Ron, you're on WLS. Ron?
Yes.
Hey.
Go ahead.
How you doing?
Good.
Hey, listen, Gary, you are 100% absolutely correct. You have to tip your pizza driver good because they know your last name, they know your address,
yep.
and they will deliver your pizza. I've delivered pizzas for years, and I could have 6 deliveries that are a block away. The 7th, if it's a good tipper, I'll be there in his front door first.
That has been proven time and time again when I've ordered pizzas. And the drivers don't rotate as much as you would think. You think, well, pizza driver, he'll be doing that job a week or two. But I've had pizza drivers For the last 2 years, the same guy.
Well, so some of those pizza chains that like ensure prompt service, if you'll pardon the expression, those guys get killed in car accidents, so they rotate a lot. But for a restaurant, right? You do it for just like a restaurant, right?
Well, I'm not doing it now. I've done it on and off at the same restaurant for about 8 years, but it's in the Oak Lawn area, south suburbs, and they have a very wide customer base. They're very, very well known. They're an individual place.
What's the name of the place?
Palermo's.
What is it?
Palermo's.
Palermo's on 95th and Cicero. Fantastic pizza, great restaurant.
Is that right across the street from the White Castle?
Actually, it is. Yeah, it's not far from the White Castle, where the old Coral Theater used to be.
Oh, yeah, the Coral Theater. I saw many movies there.
Yeah, with the rats running along the palm trees. And
of course, they're gone now.
Well, the Coral's gone, all that's gone.
But Palermo's is I don't have a stake in it, but I mean, there's a Geno's, there's Giordano's, there's a Connie's. They're all over the place, but Palermo's does the most amount of business out there. But no, by far, if you can deliver a hot pizza, you got the smiling face, and they'll give you $5, $6, $7.
Yeah, it's worth
it. So what do you expect then?
I would expect, even from a pizza that, so long as it's on time, I would expect $2 minimum.
Yeah, that's.
And now we used to get $1 for a delivery. I think their policy is about the same now. But for these people that say, oh, but they're getting deliveries, yeah, but they're not.
Wait, now how much is the pizza though that we're
for a $2 tip? I mean, the lowest order is $10, $12.
Okay. So you want $2 on that. For $20, you want like $4?
Well, see, I don't necessarily equate it with how much. I mean, sure, if someone's ordering 5, 6 pies, then yeah, I'd like to get a decent tip. But it's more on the distance, how hot, how courteous you are, the way you portray yourself. I mean, I would carry a cell phone, and if I had any idea if I was going to get lost, I'd be on that phone in a second. I mean,
is it better to tip you on the card, or is it better to tip you in cash?
Doesn't matter. You still get it. Still get it that night. I think people get off on giving you cash. In fact, there are several customers that I can recall by last name and their exact address that they would get off because they would tip you on cash, and guys would fight for that.
Yeah, see what I mean? These guys know. They got your whole trip in their hand.
Yeah, because you don't even have to check the address. You know, it's the Schmitz. Well, they're over on 52nd Avenue. You're in there without even thinking.
Right.
You know where you're going.
Nice tip. And I'm telling you, as soon as I started doing that service was there every time.
Yeah, I mean, you compliment the wife. You ask them to watch it on TV.
Oh, sure. And, come in, you wash the car.
Anything.
Yeah.
I've picked up cigarettes for people. Or,
full service.
Anything. You're working for tips.
That's right.
Thank you, Ron.
Sure.
See ya.
Always in those...
Palermo's in Oak Lawn. I'm going to stop by there. I still work the area when I'm visiting people out there.
Hey, I'm Gary Meyer,
No, I just like good pizza. And if it's there, I'm there.
Yeah, I grew up around here, I'm considered a local celebrity.
You know what tip means? To ensure prompt service? Yes. I'll have another martini.
Kathy's on a car phone. Kathy, you're on WLS.
Hi.
Hi.
What about limo drivers?
What about them?
We need tips, too.
Okay, that's another thing. I've noticed some companies have the tip already on the bill.
Well, a lot of them don't. A lot of times we drag lots of heavy luggage and load it in doors and make sure there's candy and magazines for the long, boring ride to the airport.
I want booze. I want the booze in the back.
Okay.
I'm thrilled to get 15%.
Okay, rule of thumb, $1 per piece of luggage?
No, I've never heard of that. Usually 15%. And
okay, but I'm saying on top of whatever else, $1 for each bag?
No, we do that to be nice. It's just putting someone in your car.
See, that's what I do with the Sky Cap.
Yeah, Sky Cap, it's $1 a bag.
Yeah.
If you come in any less than $1 a bag, the Sky Cap's going to...
You'll never see that luggage again.
That's going to Hawaii. You're going to Florida, it's going to Hawaii.
Yeah. Don't forget us.
Okay,
We'd like to at least get 15%.
Explain if the gratuity's on the bill, because some companies just put it on there.
Yeah. Well, some don't, too.
Yep. Okay.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
We're in a tipping frenzy.
See, I show up with really big, heavy bags because I load everything into one bag. And, when you're carrying bomb parts, that can get pretty heavy. And I tip 50 cents a bag. I swear to God, it is true. I once had a Sky Cap because I wasn't even thinking. You get in a rush, you get to the airport. We were late for a plane. I got these bags. I'm trying to get the things going. And the guy was going to follow me into the with my bags into the ticket area. And so the guy was looking at me thinking he was going to put the bag somewhere else, and he thought I was stiffing him on the tip, and he gave me this look.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
And I realized at that point...
They could screw you up so badly.
I know, and I was apologizing to him. I mean, really, he's the most important guy in the entire trip.
Right, so you say you have one bag. Give them $2 or $3.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Well, you got the rule of thumb there is, I think you're right. The rule of thumb is minimum $1 a bag.
Oh, yeah. Unless
minimum.
You don't want to see the bag for about 3 days.
That just ensures that your bag might get on the right plane, which is about as good as it gets. All right, 5:30, Roe and Garry, WLS.
Tuesday morning excitement in the breakfast diner with your buddies, Don Wade and Roma.
The Bulls' victory could get fans to burn Chicago. The city... Dial 591-8900. Speak for yourself. WLS. Talk Radio 890 AM.
5:38, Roe and Garry right here, WLS. Tipping has taken over the day. John's on a car phone. John, you're on WLS.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good, how are you?
Oh, I'm just traveling along here.
That's what we're all doing in this crazy world. Third rock from the sun. John Lithgow in charge of the Sonics. Or Rose says they looks like Rush Limbaugh.
I think it looks more like Limbaugh than
Limbaugh with a scar on his mouth.
Yeah.
Wonder how he got that scar. Anyway, let's talk tipping.
Listen, you guys ever see that movie My Blue Heaven? That's what I believe in. They said in there...
Is that with Steve Martin?
Yeah, they said, I don't just tip, I over-tip. And that's what I believe in. Let me tell you, I live up in Wisconsin, and I'm an ex-New Yorker. I get treated like a god when I walk into a restaurant, or if I order a pizza on the phone. They go wild when they see me.
How much do you tip?
Well, I usually tip in a normal range, 20-25%.
Because that's what you did in New York.
Yeah. Well, if I didn't do that in New York, I wouldn't get...
in New York,
you get killed.
They cut your finger off if you did, right?
Yeah, or shoot at you.
Yeah,
One or the other.
you got to love that.
Or you'd never get a table again.
How did you go from New York to Wisconsin?
Oh, I work for AT&T, so...
That'll do it to you.
Out here.
Hey, so you're up in Wisconsin now. In Wisconsin, they don't tip. You know why? Because they're next to Canada.
Yeah,
There's a lot of Canadian influence in that state.
Well, I'll tell you, Ron, I'm like shocked. I see people sit there, run up, $50 bill at the bar, and leave $1. It drives me crazy.
Yeah, hey, the cost of living's not as high, yeah, hey. That's all the waiter needs.
Man, I'll tell you. And I've seen one guy run up a $50 tab at the bar.
See, my wife is very into, like, how much I'm tipping. She's very concerned that I'm going to over-tip, which is weird because, she worked in the restaurant business for a while. I waitress, okay, code for waitress. Yeah, I work in the restaurant business. Yeah, in other words, flopping tables. I would imagine she'd be really sensitive to that issue.
But she thinks you might be over-tipping.
Yeah. We were at a bar yesterday. We started drinking about 9 in the morning because it was cloudy again. So, and it's great. You bring the kid into the bars, smoky kind of bar.
Give her a Shirley Temple.
Yeah, and, she sits there and there's just a bunch of drunks, with their heads on the bar. It was a pretty kind of family look. Anyway, and I'm tipping this guy, and I'm tipping him it was an expensive bar. So I got a couple of drinks, and it was, I don't know, like $10, $12 or something for the couple of drinks. So I'm about to tip him $4, and my wife grabbed $2 of the bucks off the bar. What are you doing?
We can use that for liquor. It's cloudy out. What are you doing?
I don't know. I don't know where you go on that. I mean, I believe like you do. You over-tip in that way. And plus, people who are doing that are really working hard for their money. Because, you know what? I mean... delivery guys. You know what delivery guys are doing? That's extra income generally to those guys.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Right?
No.
So...
sir, do you know what Wisconsin leads the country in?
Well, I think they're one of the largest consumers of brandy.
Yeah, morbid obesity and chronic alcoholism.
Right.
And it sounds like you've witnessed that.
Well, yeah, I've witnessed both.
Yeah.
And I used to attend bar in my youth back in New York, and if I didn't come away, with a couple of $100 at the end of the shift, I didn't have a good night.
Yeah.
And these guys up here are telling me they make, $25, $30 an hour.
You're breaking up.
Yeah, hey, you got some cheese in your line there.
Yeah, they removed the line. It was the governor of Wisconsin started interfering with it. The guy worked for the phone company, too. When the guy works for the phone company can't get a clean line out, there's
trouble.
Big trouble. Neighborville, here's Lee. Lee, you're on WLS.
How do you do? One of the things I think it's true, I think servers are they're better tippers than anyone else when they go out to dine.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
My daughters work their way through school waitressing. There are two areas I think you have not yet handled. One is a buffet. When you go to a buffet, you're helping yourself, and your server is just bringing you your drink.
All right. She brings up a good point. The buffet freaks out there.
That
What are they doing?
What are you doing an early bird special?
That must have been really funny.
Yeah.
I didn't know. It was marvelous. Anyway, and the other thing is...
No. I mean, it's an interesting concept because because if you undertip in a situation like that,
yeah,
then people are going to look at you and go,
take your plate away.
Yeah, what kind of cheap,
Yeah, they don't change your plate.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? It's funny you mention this
because there are all kinds of buffets. There are very expensive buffets.
Sure.
So it's not just. And the other thing I just want to mention.
Go 10% on the buffet.
The other thing that's what we usually do. The other thing I wanted to mention quickly is in my business I often am comped. You know what that is.
Yeah, we do. We're in radio.
I said comped. And no matter what we order, if we just want to say a drink or something, we give the server at least $5.
What's your business?
I'm a writer and I'm on radio.
You are?
Mm-hmm.
What radio?
WAIT AM.
You are?
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? You spin...
You better really be sitting down now because you're just going to fall down.
Yeah.
I'm on a program Sunday mornings called Sensational Seniors.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, we're on one in the afternoon.
I am.
Have you heard this topic for more than 10 minutes? We're Sensational Seniors.
I'm psychic. I knew that would get something out of you.
All right. You can do a psychic thing, too.
I could do a psychic.
Now,
I could do so...
Sensational. You play big band music.
Can do a heck of a lot more than you young guys think we can.
We're not going to argue that. No. WAIT plays big band, right?
They play terrific music.
And did I read recently where they're doing gangbusters in the ratings? Because
they're doing very well, yeah.
Because your generation has nowhere else to go for radio, right?
Well, you see, and your generation can't hear anymore from the decibels, so,
This is the kind of humor she uses on her show.
Listen, let me tell you something. When you add me and Gary together, we're 77 years old.
That's just about that's 10 years older than I am all by myself, so I told you I can do so much more.
Yeah. Now, when you said Compton, I said, I know Compton. I'm in radio, and sure enough, you're in radio, too.
That's why she knows Compton?
We know Compton.
And I used to do a lot of writing for the various newspapers where, you get comps. But I think that it's only right, even if the thing is supposed to be free, that you give your server...
you have to. In fact, you have to spike the tip because you got it for free.
Exactly. Now, you say 10% on a buffet, Lee. We're short on time here.
And I'll tell you something else. When you're as old as I am, you got to treat people well or they'll trip you.
This is some of her show coming through here.
And you don't want to break a hip.
What's the name? What's your name?
My name is Leona Topple, T-O-P.
Okay, Leona Topple on Sensational Seniors, Sunday mornings, WAIT.
It's not my show. Karen Ross is the producer and host. I just do one segment of it.
Okay, what's your segment?
My segment is entertainment.
Okay.
Entertainment. And I hate the word critic, so I call it reviewer.
All right, like if something's happening at the Martinique, like if Bobby Vinton's coming in, that would be one of your topics?
The Martinique, is, with all due respect, is a nice place, but that's for very old people.
Yeah, that's like Cocoon.
That's for, like, people in, their 70s.
I swear to God, I did a piece last year for Channel 9 on Bobby Vinton. Went out there, I thought I was on the set of Cocoon.
I do
wow.
a lot of...
Hume Cronin. Yeah. Everybody looked like Hume Cronin.
Oh, man.
I do a lot of movie reviews and plays and stuff.
Like, what kind of movie would the elders set go to these days?
Well, see, now, there is one of the misconceptions is that the elders very often like a lot of the same stuff that the young kids of 40 like.
Yeah? Like striptease? Are you going to go see Demi Moore in striptease?
I was her body double, but we won't go into that.
She's using some of her stuff.
More shtickle.
More shtickle.
Hey, we're going to do the WLS Dependable Weather Forecast. But, Leona, you're in radio. Would you like to do it for us?
What would you want me to do?
The weather.
The weather?
You know what it is.
The weather is, in Naperville is sunny. I don't know what it's like where you are.
That's good enough. Thank you, Leona.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good luck. That's her producer calling and going, I heard you mention me on the show.
That's us in 20 years or in a year, depending on how things go. And could be a year.
Gary, got another biblical verse for us?
Yes, I do. The end of the world is...
Oh, yipper. But it's like, do you tip on the gross or on the net?
Upon us, let's just get right to the Bible. For he saith to the snow, Be thou on the earth, likewise to the small rain, and to the great rain of his strength. Lonnie?
I can't follow that.